Is it? Are we not?
Up your shaft. Aye, sir.
Hi, I'm Zach with Capital Chaos, and I'm here with
Silence the Messenger. I'm Steve.
Paulo.
I'm Jared.
I'm gonna ask him a few questions, so here we go. Band name, Silence the Messenger. Really kick ass. Who came up with that?
To be honest, none of the guys that are in the band now. We kind of just went with it after we were all in the band, and it's just kind of stuck. There's not a point in changing it at this point. It is what it is, and we're just rolling with it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. 8-string guitars. You guys are using 8 strings, I see, on music videos. What tuning of the guitar and bass in?
The guitars are tuned in F sharp, so you have your standard 6-string E, A, D, G, B, E. Then you have another low string, which is a B, which is 7-string, and then the 8-string is the F sharp. And same with the bass from F sharp up is a 5-string. So
yeah, so it's F sharp, B, and then E, A, D.
Sounds good. No crazy tunings, nothing like that. No drops or.
Actually, the Buried album was tuned with the F sharp tuned down to E. So you had 3 E strings, so E, B, E, A, D, G, B, E. Yeah. So, you know.
So it just kind of goes back and forth between the two tunings to get some variety and different.
Because some of the new stuff we've been writing has been in standard, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. I noticed on your videos, I've seen some live videos, you guys have a ton of stage presence. Is that something you guys try to focus on, or is it just natural?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. It's kind of, we've always, for years now, we've kind of had this mentality where, you know, a lot of bands put on a great show as far as playing their songs, which is great. Kids go to the show to hear songs, but you know, not everybody can afford every single show. So when kids do pay money to go to a show, we want to give them as much stage presence and basically just get their money's worth and put on as much of a stage show as well as perform the actual songs the way they want to be heard. So we try and put as much intensity as possible into every single set that we play, just so there's never a dull moment and people walk out of our show just remembering everything about it, so they look forward to coming back to see us next time. So it's definitely been a really big part of what we do as far as playing the songs the way they're supposed to be played, but then you know, making sure the dynamic on stage is just extravagant, it's just kick ass, you know. So it's definitely a big part of what we do, is having an awesome stage show.
Awesome, sounds great. You guys are unsigned currently. Are you guys shopping for labels, or are you trying to do it DIY or?
At the moment, we're kind of just shopping around. We have a booking agent, Trevor Swinson, and we have Nathan Gluck as our manager. We're on Good Fight Entertainment, so if anybody's familiar with any of the Good Fight bands, they manage big bands like August Burns Red, Behemoth, Cannibal Corpse, Devil Driver, Every Time I Die, you know, big bands. So we're part of an awesome management team, we're really stoked about, and they're kind of just shopping us around right now. So at the moment, we are unsigned. We don't have a label. We just pay for a lot of the stuff ourselves, and just at the moment, yeah, it's DIY for the most part, except for the guys behind the scenes, but just kind of shopping around at the moment, yeah.
Hopefully something comes up. Hopefully you guys are really, really good, yeah. So I was like, wow.
Thank you, man.
Who's some of my favorite bands you guys have ever played with?
Actually, one of them, the ones we're on tour with right now, Wretched, we toured with them last summer. Those are just some of our best friends to tour with. Those guys are awesome. Any other bands that we've played shows with out of town or in town, kind of a lot to name, but Molotov Solution, Within the Ruins, American Me, Sovereign Strength, Betrayal. There's a lot of bands that we're friends with that we'd love to play shows with and hang out with when they roll through town. So too many to name for sure, but there's a lot out there.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's basically too many to name, nothing on top of my head, yeah.
Design a Skyline?
The Design a Skyline, that's right when we get home from this tour with Wretched and Huntress, we go out with a band called Amist and Design the Skyline. And you know, for one reason or another, that band, Design a Skyline, always gets a lot of negative feedback from a lot of people, and you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, we're stoked to be going out on the road regardless of who it's with. So it's, you know, for the people that have bad things to say about that band, you know, that's fine. Don't go to the show if you don't want to go. But for those of you who do want to come out, come see us. It's just an awesome opportunity for us to go out with bands that aren't exactly like us, and you know, we're gonna hop on that opportunity. So.
And they're from Texas, you know, they're from Corpus Christi, so you got to represent, you know, where you come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no hate for those guys whatsoever. So if you guys are gonna come out to the show, please come out. Please come hang out with us. It's gonna be a good time.
Sounds good. You guys are driving right now. Are you guys driving in a bus, van, RV, or
van and trailer?
Van and trailer, yeah. 12-passenger van, V8, and the trailer is a 6x12 with a fold-down ramp and a side door. I mean, It's just, you know, it
works, right?
It works. It gets it done. It's a place to sleep. It's probably the best van we've owned in the past few years. We've had the least amount of problems with it, and you got to make sure you put money into a van that's going to be worth taking around the country. You know, if it's not strong enough or not built for the right things, then you're going to have a lot of problems. So you have to invest a little bit of money. But yeah, van and trailer.
Do you guys trade driving duty, or do you guys have a designated driver? Or
We do about 3-hour shifts, and we rotate. We have the same rotation for the most part. I mean, every now and then, sometimes, you know, some things will get screwed up, but I mean, we usually stick to 3-hour shifts. And there's 4 out of 5 of us driving right now. Our drummer's young, and we haven't let him drive just yet. So yeah, but 4 out of 5 of us driving is 3-hour shifts.
okay, that seems fair.
Yeah, keep it fair.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite place to eat while you guys are out on the road?
Depends, I guess, what coast we're on.
I'd have to say, even west or east coast, I still think Zaxby's or Cookout is like, that's east coast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, that area. Like Zaxby's and Cookout were my favorite. I mean, I love In-N-Out and stuff like that, but I still think that.
Yeah.
And we always try that. I mean, the obvious places that all the bands say they like to eat out like that, but we also like to find. We all love food, so we try and find like cool hole-in-the-wall places that people are like, hey, you can only get this here. You're like, so hey, let's go. Sometimes, you know, if we have a few extra bucks, we'll spend $8 or $9 on a meal every once in a while just to try something that we haven't tried. You know, that's other half of just being in a touring band. We get to go see parts of the country that certain people don't, and we get to eat things that aren't at home, and that's fun. It's awesome. So hole-in-the-wall places and then the cool standard fast food that everybody talks about. So yeah.
Yep.
Funny road stories, you guys got any?
Oh no,
I saw that head drop.
No, I feel like there's just like we all have a really good time, but it's just I feel like there's so many that it's hard to like pinpoint one that's like really
Better than
sticks out.
another.
I got one. If you don't have one, our very first tour, we were. This was back in '08. We were a very young band. It was our very first tour. We were 2 days in. Long story short, we drove through the night, and in Refugio, Texas, our van's engine literally caught on fire. There were flames coming up while we were driving at like 6 in the morning, and we all kind of we bailed. We got as many of the water bottles as we had left in the van. Had to wake a couple of us up, and we put that fire out, and we had to get the van towed. At that point, there was nothing we could do. We sold it for parts, and then luckily, I've got really supportive parents. Both of them left work at 7 in the morning to drive 2 hours to bring me my Toyota 4Runner, and we finished the last like 2 weeks, the 5 of us in my in a 4Runner, and it was extremely cramped, but we're kind of just one of those bands that's never been about giving up or anything of the sort. Whatever we have to do to make things go the way they're supposed to be going and take care of it is what we're going to do. So if we have to spend 2 weeks in a 4Runner, we're going to do it. So that's probably the first thing that it sticks out to me as a shitty tour story that just is not going to go anywhere. That's probably my favorite one.
Did you guys have the gear in the back of the 4Runner as well?
No, we still had the trailer. The trailer was fine. It was a different trailer back then.
Has a hitch on the.
Yeah, I have a hitch.
Okay,
I have a hitch on. Yeah.
Really cramped.
I got a good story. Okay, so this was our last tour last summer with Wretched. We were in Charleston, South Carolina.
A good one.
We thought it would be good to float down a river, you know, before we had to play.
We got there pretty early.
They said, like, you know, it's going to be like an hour and a half float down the river, no big deal. And then an hour and a half turned into like 3-4 hours.
It was a 5-hour float.
5-hour float.
And the water's not even consistently deep, so at times we were just literally walking, like grabbing our rafts and just walking in the water for like a good couple miles, and then it would dip back down, and then you'd get to float again. But it was 5 hours of that, and it was the worst.
It was seriously the crappiest float I've ever been a part of.
So then we were all like burnt out from being on the river for 5 hours.
We smelt like crap, and we were about a couple hours late to load in to the venue, so it was really bad.
The show was cool.
The show was cool,
but the river raft trip is a bad thing. Don't ever do that. Ever.
What are you guys' plans for the rest of 2012?
We're writing right now.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of writing. We've been hopping on a couple tours back to back here, but when we get home from the Design a Skyline tour, we're gonna hopefully finish finally writing a new album. We're about 9 songs in right now to what we're doing. So whether it's going to be an EP or full length, we're not super sure yet. But we will have some new stuff hopefully put out by fall or at the end of the year at the latest. So we're definitely doing a lot of writing. That's the rest of 2012 as far as we can tell right now.
Sounds good. Any advice for an up and coming like low budget band you guys can offer?
Work hard. And if you really want to take it seriously, then you got to have a mentality like, this is what I really want to do. So you can't really half-ass anything. You know what I mean? You can't.
Be willing to sacrifice as much as you possibly can. I mean, honestly, that's the biggest thing about doing this for a living and as a career. You have to sacrifice pretty much everything. You're away from your family. You're not making a lot of money. Job, you have to sacrifice everything. So be willing to do that. Pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sacrifices. That's about as deep as it's going to get. I mean, you got to have it deep in here, otherwise you're gonna flake out and you're gonna say, oh, it's not worth it. And you got to be willing to lose your job at some point. You got to be willing to potentially lose girlfriends down the road. And
but it's all
it's all worth it if it's what you really want to do. Then that's why we're here, because that's what we really want to do.
If you really love music that much, then any of the sacrifices won't be any problem to you. You know what I mean? So.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What kind of day jobs do you guys have, or do you guys get to keep day jobs long enough to while you're on tour?
We all do, actually. We all, as far as right now goes, since we're not touring 6, 7, 8 months out of the year at the moment, we're lucky enough to still all have our day jobs. I work at Best Buy, and I've been there for about 7 years now, and so they've been really cool with me touring. And so they just, whenever I'm gone, they're cool with it, and when I come back, they give me as many hours as possible. So that's what I do when I'm home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a server at a Japanese restaurant. I make pretty good money, and I have the coolest general manager ever, so he knows exactly what I'm trying to do, and he's willing to work with me because I've been there for like 4 years, so he's really flexible when it comes to like me touring and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I'm a bartender. I've been doing that for about a little over a year and a half. Best job if you're touring or you want to tour and you want to. It's the best job. It's the best hours, best. I think best money that you could possibly find yourself into. It's awesome. Hopefully I still have it.
The other guys have jobs too. James works at a burrito place in town, and our drummer Fernando works with his parents. So we all got jobs, and so we all have enough money to be able to put in. And kind of relating to what we said earlier, doing it DIY for now, you have to put a lot of money up front. You're not getting fronted merch. You're not getting anything paid for other than what you guys put in. So it all works out awesome that we all have day jobs that help us pay for all this stuff. So as long as we can have that, we're going to keep them.
Sounds good. All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Anything you want to add?
So much. Thank you, man.
Just can't wait to see the rest of the country coming out at the end of the rest of the shows with Wretched and Huntress. And in the next couple months with Design of Skyline and Amist. Come hang out with us.
Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/SilenceTheMessenger, or follow us on Twitter at STMmetal, and hope to see you at a show.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night. Good show.
Blowing it up.
I'm blowing it up.
Hey, what's up? This is Paulo, Silence the Messenger, and I'm blowing it up with Capital Chaos.